Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Earlier, I made a video with the reasons why Israel did not start its ground offensive in Gaza. And the article I used was from NBC News. And somewhere in the middle, I found out that 2 dozen of American soldiers were lightly injured in Iraq and Syria. That was not the subject of that video that I made earlier today, but this is because these guys are changing the number hourly, I guess. Obviously, they say there's just a few injuries. First, when I read that thing, I was just infrastructure. No casualties, no injuries, nobody was wounded. Now we got to 2,000, which is 24, and now we got to 30. So I guess by tomorrow morning we're going to get to 50 and 12 dead. So let me show you this little article from earlier that I covered from NBC. And somewhere in the middle here, they mentioned right here, Iran-backed militias are also active in Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. On Tuesday, U.S. military officials announced that 2 dozen American military personnel were wounded last week in a series of drone attacks at U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria. Obviously, in Syria, that is an illegal deployment of U.S. troops. In Iraq, that's an occupation, or at least the guys in charge with democracy want to make sure that they're not overthrown by their own people. So that was like the prelude. And I'm going now to the article today from CNN, where it says, so this is the 25th of October. This one that I used earlier was still the 26th. This is 6:03 a.m. They talk about the last week. Last week, the attacks occurred. So since last week until today at 1:09 p.m., they changed from at least 30 U.S. military personnel suffered minor injuries in recent drone attacks. But here, if you remember, they said 2 dozens, right? 2 dozens, that's 12, that's 24. Nevertheless, it's at least. At least could be 3,000, because at least is the minimum. They didn't tell us the maximum yet. So the highest number. So at least 30 U.S. military personnel sustained minor injuries from drone and rocket attacks on coalition military bases in Iraq and Syria on October 18. Now, just between you and me here, you and I, if you have, imagine 30, let's say 35 people, okay, 35, so 10, 20, 30. In order for them to be just lightly injured, what do you think the circumstances were? They were all sleeping here and there, and remember that's plural, bases, not one base. It was not one place, like a dormitory or something. So I suspect in the near future, which is going to be about 4 days, in about 4 days we're going to hear that unfortunately some U.S. troops lost their lives in those attacks, and it's going to be about 55 that are injured. Now, to be 55 injured, that means the drones really hit some congested area. I have a gut feeling, or a ball feeling, that's what's going to happen. You'll see. I'll be here to let you know. It says, one of the officials said that 4 personnel sustained minor injuries from an attack on Al-Assaid air base in Iraq on October 18, and an additional 20 personnel suffered minor injuries from an attack the same day on the U.S. garrison in Al-Tanf, Syria. It is not clear where the other injuries occurred. CNN previously reported that there were some minor injuries in the incident, but not how many. They don't know how many. They can't then put them together anymore. They can't, okay, this is a okay, hey, that's a hand, put it here, it's a leg. Is that why they don't know how many? my friends. So the point, U.S. military's presence in Syria is illegal, right? It's illegal. So when you hear these guys yapping around Ukraine's independence, freedom, and how do you call it, Freedom, independence, and sovereignty. Right? Think of Syria. I think Syria has the same value as Ukraine in front of the international law. So when you hear these guys telling you about Russians and doing this in Ukraine, okay, well that's bad, but equally bad is this thing right here when you have just military personnel in someone else's country. Why? How do I know that's wrong? Because you wouldn't like that done to you. So if you use a little bit of the Bible teaching here, Bible school, then Sunday teaching school, whatever, we're going to find out that, hey, I think that's not fair. Anyway, expect more. I read another article earlier where they said, they being the Americans military, they said that if these attacks continue, they will bring more troops and more military infrastructure and weapons in those bases. No surprise to me whatsoever. It's unbelievable how the bully, Al Capone, cries that everybody wants a piece of him. But if he wants, he can screw them all. Like this. Right? He can dust everything from him with all these guys. But somehow those guys attack Al Capone. Has that happened to you in real life? Very, very, very rarely. Well, the problem is, in the case of Al Capone, it happens all the time. Al Capone is always harassed, always attacked, okay, always by very small, entities, groups, little countries, and then, Al Capone has to react because our personnel is endangered and our national security that is everywhere we want, okay, then we do wherever we want to consider it national security. We're gonna get in and we're gonna them up in the name of freedom, democracy, love, and understanding. The new world order, they call it, and or rule-based global or world order. But you guys are following the rules. I'm the one who's gonna determine who's not following. But hey, I don't have a mirror, okay? And you can't hold a mirror against me. No, because I will just consider that an attack, and I will have to react. You understand the garbage here, right? All right, well, I'm going to keep you posted because I think it's going to be more than 30, 35. And I have a bold feeling, as I said, that there are some dead people out there. And the Americans there's going to be a pretext for them to go and them up. Something that the boss, the I, told them, hey, you got to do something, man. Iran is your national threat, right? Not ours, it's yours. How in the Iran is your national threat? Well, by, how do you call it? By alliance? By boomerang. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.